we feel about ourselves, with what we see, our capacity to vision, to intuit, to translate our love and care into nurturing in the world. But somehow we tend to give all of that away and we forget to nurture ourselves first. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And some of you know this hand sign here, but this means I agree, I concur. So when more people turn our camera on, if you would like, then we can support each other with these when you agree with something. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tour around that site, and we are also going to have something of a discussion. I would love to hear more from you. We're kind of getting to know each other a little bit here, Pallavi and Melva. You know, some of you might be new, but most of you here I recognize already. So let's get right into it. The question I put in the chat box, I don't know if you happen to see that on the screen right as you were entering. The question is, what's your greatest resource? What's your greatest resource in your life? Would you pop it in the chat box? And you'll see that I ask you questions, and I want to feel you, sense you, because as a naturopath, as a nurturer myself, if I can't feel someone, it's hard to respond, right? This is not dry science stuff, by the way. We get into all kinds of juicy topics as women. That's why we're all women. So what's your greatest resource, ladies? What is it? Okay, Desi, your knowledge, okay. And I don't know how to say your name. And how do you say your name? I'm going to ask on YouTube.
It's Nung. Nung.
Ishnung.
Yes, thank you.
No.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. I've been wondering that. It's nice to see you again. I just want to say your name correctly. No,
okay.
Thank you. Okay, and Erica says her wisdom, and Yasmin says kindness and eager to learn. And Kristen says creativity. And Katina says my intuition. Okay, thank you, everybody. So part of our work here in understanding our gut health, for me personally, would be very boring if we only talked about, we've talked about so many great things by now, science-wise. We've talked about our microbiome, our microbiota in our gut. We've talked about food combining, the glycemic index, gastric juices. We've really gone pretty deep now as a solid foundation to understand gut health. Yet, if we leave out our heart health, and I don't mean just this that's pumping in our chest, but I mean our emotional intelligence, our empathy, our care. If we leave that out, well, it becomes very clear why this world is in the mess that it's in. And could it be that you and I as women, properly nourished, rested, cared for from within, our greatest resource becomes our ability to truly love, care, and nurture here first? What do you think? Because see, they're directly interlinked. And we know scientifically that it's impossible for our emotions and our gut to be separated. If you were here in some of our first lessons, we did a whole lesson on how our gut is technically through our vagus nerve connected from our gut up into our heart, into our brain, and it goes back around again. And the vagus nerve is very sensitive. It's based on behavior, emotions, and it's always tuned into our gut, scanning, tuning into what's happening in our gut, our biochemistry balance. And it's sending messages into our brain constantly, triggering dopamine, serotonin, and other hormones that we either feel elated, good, whole, happy, or depressed, sick, not well. So see, we can't really separate our gut health from our emotional health. They're one and the same, especially for us women, because we are also pumping estrogen through our bodies, no matter our stage of life. Even as in menopause and we grow older, we still are women with incremental amounts of estrogen in our bodies. So to understand all of this, in this group in Gut Instinct, we break it down in science and we hold ourselves emotionally. We talk about our sexuality. We talk about men or women, whatever it is, someone's orientation is. We talk about all these things that are our greatest resource. But if I limit it to just my knowledge, Desi, as a naturopath, let's say, then I may not give you all of me. I want to give you all of me. And I want to receive all of you. Because this is where it's truly rich and juicy. This is where our real power is. If I rely only on my wisdom as my greatest resource, then I may not put value on the depth of the unknown mystery inside of me that's ever evolving and growing and changing. So here, Gut Instinct, this is all intertwined. It's as one. We're not like the specialist who says, the GP says, you need to go to the eye specialist now. Oh, now you need to go to the gut specialist. And no. Here, holistically, we work to understand who we are. And most important, how we can thrive in these times where one aspect of humanity in this planet is dying off clearly, and another one's being born. If we look at it holistically in an integrated whole, what if your greatest resource, the depth of who you are, is an antidote to what ails humanity in these times? What if who you are is an antidote to these times? Does anybody feel that could be true? Anybody? Are you an antidote to these times? You are. So this is why I'm so dedicated to healing, to whole health, holistic health, so that we can be a part of the solution, just little old you and me. And if we underestimate the power of that, then the opportunity here in our work together is to uncover those places, to nurture them, to care for them, to heal on a very deep level in our gut, where it all begins. I don't know if anyone here saw the newsletter that I sent out yesterday, but it was all about the signs of gut health problems, just technically speaking. And if that's what really originally brought you here, know that the work that we do is meant to speak directly to that place, technically, practically. But I don't know about you, if I left out the supernatural in the practical, it would be boring. Yeah? So our greatest resource perhaps is understanding ourselves on a whole other level that I don't know about you, but is the most compelling, intriguing thing I could do with my life, is to understand the depth of who I and we are. Yet we need to break it down practically. So the supernatural has a portal to work through. Early in my life, in my early 20s, working intuitively came naturally to me. I started out doing massage, and I realized through working with people, just tangibly touching them, that I felt what they felt. Anybody else feel what other people feel? Yes, of course you do. You're a woman, that's what we do, we feel. But of course, in a male-dominated culture that we all come from, that's pretty much smothered out, and we're taught to just get on with it, produce, move forward, Who's going to take care of the tenderness and the ones that feel? So in this work, I was feeling and sensing people, and I realized I could feel what they felt. And eventually, these kind of realizations led into full-on channeling over time. And eventually it showed me what I could do. But there was one caveat here. in order to discover my highest potential and to work intuitively, to channel with people, to go inside of someone's gut, their liver, and feel it on such a deep level that it would tell me their story. How? How do you do that? Well, how do we do it, really? Not just me. How do we do that? Well, there was one big thing that I was required to do. And the big call was 23. Said, Amy, you need to purify yourself. Oh, no, anything but that. I was a party animal at that age. Big pothead, and I just wanted to party. Very honest about it. So this gift said, okay, your wish is my command. Go ahead and do whatever it is you want to do. So I did. And I just partied my face off for the next 10 years. But then, started getting into my early 30s. And it just doesn't have the same effect at 33 as it does 23. It starts to wear on you a bit. And big life changes happened. And this voice inside that was guiding me intuitively and showing me my greater gifts, it came back because some really tremendous things happened, a big breakup and big fire. And this fire purified me in a way I wasn't willing to do. I wasn't willing to go into purification myself. Too resistant, temperamental, just wanted to ignore it, negate, typical stuff. But when I experienced a massive fire in my apartment in New York City, that was a massive fire. There was just about took the whole building down on the Lower East Side of New York City. That got my attention. And plus having lots of health issues before, all this started to get my attention. I'm telling you this story because I'm paralleling, hopefully in your own life, to know that there's resistance that we often have to healing ourselves, to claiming our greater gifts, even if we know we have them. And we get so frustrated with ourselves that we don't do it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Does anybody relate to that? Yeah, feel free to pop it in the chat box and tell us if that's you. The more revealing we become, the lesser these things sting, the less they can erode us from inside. And so that fire was a big purification for me. And the voice came back and it said, you need to do your work with people. Stop working in bars, stop waiting tables, stop your party life. Purify yourself. And I'm not talking about puritanical, I'm not talking about any kind of nonsensical thing like that. This is all going to be real practical, where I'm not interested. But at the same time, I know now, if I don't take care of myself, if I don't take care of my gut health, if I don't resource myself from within, that stress that we carry just takes over instead. And it can get so intense that it begins to really wear down your gut health. So if you have any kind of gut health issues, I would say stress, long-term stress, is probably the number one thing that put it there. And that began to break down your immunity in your gut, sending those chemical messages into your brain, and your body goes into kind of survival mode. But the good news is that we don't have to live in that place if we're really willing to listen. And if we're willing to change some of those old ways that only harm us. Yeah, doesn't make us boring, or doesn't mean we don't have a glass of wine. It just means that we become hopefully aware of ourselves more and take care of this precious body that we have. And switch on your superpowers. Who here has an idea of your superpowers? Do you have an idea of what you're capable of? Okay, Amina, great. Yes, okay, Katina, okay, Elaine, this is great. This is what we want to do, ladies. We want to get into what we're capable of. So we do our gut health work, and we get into our nutrition work and purifying in order to switch on those superpowers. That's what we're talking about here. So that you engage all of you, all of that love, that nurturing, that healing force. What if you are a healing force on this planet? I mean, that's the biggest market ever. We need healing, right? This is what we need, humanity. And you and I, our gut health realigned within, so that you come first. What are you capable of? And what are those superpowers capable of in this world that are really needed right now? That's a question I have for everybody. And one little more thing with that, and we'll go on to our resource site. Yeah, Kiki, I hear you. You're not clear on them. That's why we're here. Okay, this is why we're here. By getting into those superpowers, what if, just to put some little more with it, what if we carried a sense of healthy responsibility with it? Like, this is my job. This is what I'm here to do in this world. And even though I may not always know how, and Kiki, we may not know what they are, by stepping forward and take the first step is to commit to our gut health. And to say, I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to take care of myself on the deepest level I can. And then I'm going to be of service to others from a whole place. This is what our work is about. It's not just a science lesson on food combining and all of that. Very important. But our greater mission of what we're doing here on this planet in these times, wow, what a gift that we're alive now. So may we heal our gut and heal the gut of the planet at the same time as one. May we say, I will do it. I will step into that. And you know, it's kind of like the angels sing. And there's a greater force behind us when we choose to fully step into it. So I'm going to take a couple of things from the chat box, and then we're going to go into our resource site. I want to give you a little bit of tour and show you around, because I know when we're first, some of you aren't just starting out, but if you are just starting out, or if you're looking for more tools, what we're going to do is we're going to go from our goal, let's say, the supernatural, to being able to hear and see on other levels that tune you in to what you already know. You already know. You already know. Yet we doubt ourselves, but we're going to break that down all the way into the practical steps and say, hey, okay, I'm going to clean up my gut, my life. I'm going to learn how. And then, you know, these band of ladies come together and choose to be a healing force together as well. To me, this is really exciting. Women coming together who choose to be healing forces as a whole, as a unit. Look out, world. Let's go to the chat box here for just a moment, and then we'll move on to our resource site. Desi says, my dream is to heal people, but something is holding me back, maybe a lack of confidence. Yeah, Desi, I hear you. Well, you know, it's funny, I always, as a healer, I know I don't heal anyone, you know? I know I don't heal anyone. That's a lot to take on ourselves, yet hopefully I can contribute to somebody else's healing. So maybe if there was, I would just encourage you to reframe it, Desi, and so that you can contribute to healing to others, but it isn't just up to you, you know, so that you have support and you can grow and learn at the same time. So it's a lot of responsibility to take on if I have to heal someone. I hope that's helpful. And Pallavi says, I have been under emotional stress for many years and in survival mode too. Have been feeling better only since I started focusing on myself and healing. Yeah, that's the way. So for anybody new here, or if you've yet to fully commit to your healing journey, this is what I would encourage you to do, is to just come back to a couple of these little words. Me first. I know it sounds really simplistic, but me first. And every single time we begin to reach out and I'm going to do this and that, could it first go through the filter of me first? I'm not suggesting we don't serve others. We must, you know, that's what we do as women. But how we do that could be the difference between you being fully in the equation and at peace and self-cared and resourced, or you desourced and eventually probably resentful and not happy about it. Yeah, and I know it's not easy, you know. I run 2 full-on companies with many people and a lot of responsibility. a lot. So I say this to you as I remind myself, like, can we filter through all the responsibilities have? Can we filter through always tuning in and seeing what you're committing to? Where's it coming from inside? Okay, lovelies. Let's switch gears now a bit. We're going to come back to a discussion after we go in and tour around on the resource site, and then we're going to do our readings from there. Before we do that though, let's take 3 big breaths together. Big breath. Really all the way in and all the way out. And all the way in. Nourishing yourself with the inhale and letting go fully with the exhale. Resourcing ourselves in this way, you always have your breath, no matter what you face, what you go through. What if you're breathing through everything you experience and choosing to let everything else just roll right off of you? Even though you may still feel it, you're coming in with the breath and letting go. No matter what you experience, our number 1 tool that's always there for us is our breath. And we keep breathing. Okay. Here we go. Here we go to our to go vegan. I'm thinking about rebranding because I realize go vegan. Vegan is a very charged word for many people. Does anybody feel charged by that word? Yeah. So it might become go plant-based or something like that. It's challenging because people seem to have an attachment to this word vegan. It's really not my intention. So if that word triggers you at all, just know I understand that. And it's not really about vegan, okay? It's about self-care and using plants to heal ourselves with. But let's steer away from any kind of belief systems. So I'm already logged in here. So what I do here is there is 3 really main resources for you to work with. There's a meal planner, there's our vegan recipe book, and there's a food as medicine library that teaches you about the different healing properties of food. Let's go in and take a look at the meal planner. We originally created this site just for our students, actually, but it became such a great thing. We decided to give all people access to it, actually. So here's what we do. Let's say you want to create a new meal planner. Then let's say Cami was going to do that. Then she would just create a new meal planner there. And this one here is going to store 7 meal planners for you. So like for 7 days, you could create meal planners for 7 days. Okay, so I open up my meal planner. And then I go over here and I select a category. Let's say I want to make desserts. You could also just search. Let's say you want to make something with lentils or whatever it is, then you could just search a keyword there as well. Let's say, oh, I'm really interested in this vanilla coconut cream pie. So I would click on add, and then do you want it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, or drinks? Okay, then let's have that for lunch. I add it to my meal planner. Well, I've already been in this one, you see. I have a couple of other things on there. And when it's yellow like this, I haven't yet said yes to it. But as soon as I click on these little buttons, then let me unclick for a second and show you something that, oh, maybe it doesn't work like that. Okay. If you want to get rid of it, you've got to go like this. Let's just do the buffalo almond dip. And right when I click it on green, what it does is it gives me an automatic shopping list. Okay, and there's the one from the mushrooms that were on there before, and the vanilla coconut cream pie. Oh, twice. Oh, because I clicked on it twice. Okay, so it's going to give you all your ingredients, an automated list here. Okay, you could send it to yourself, or you could create a PDF from it. Be sure to save it. Let's say if you wanted to get on a meal rotation and you wanted to create 7 days, that's what I would encourage you to do, is to create like 7 days of meal planning. Then all you have to do is come back to all your plans, and it's going to pop up what you would have once a week. So here we have all our ingredients, and then it asks you, how will you get your food? Are you gonna stop by a store after work? Do you have leftovers at home? Are you gonna go to a friend's place for dinner? And then you'd write your preparation notes over here. Oh yeah, I need to soak some almonds overnight. Or be sure to shred some of that coconut before you go out. And then when will you get it? Okay, so get on some timing with it. Okay, it's gonna be after work. I'm gonna go to the store in the morning. So you get your timing, you get your logistics down, and then you just save it. Okay, and then you have a meal planner that's starting to work for you. Let's say I wanted to browse through some more recipes, then I just keep looking at them here, and ooh, lots of tasty, fun things here. Oh, let's say I wanted to add this to my snacks. Okay, then it's going to pop up here. It won't appear on the actual grocery list until you turn that green. Okay, that way you can get rid of it if you wanted to easily. Yeah. Okay, so that is essentially how the meal planner works. It's a lot of fun. There's over 150 recipes in our recipe book, which I want to show you next. And we're always creating more recipes. From doing food retreats, I did raw food and detox trainings in Bali for 10 years. For the past 10 years, I just did our 25th training in December, and then bam, COVID hit in February. And just ironically, I was finished with Bali and had done that for 10 years. And I was so thankful, because you can't really get to Bali now anymore. My entire huge teaching kitchen with 7 food processors and Vitamix still in Bali in storage. Maybe we will do more trainings there. But now we have this place in Italy called Asha. And perhaps someday you'll come to a training with us here. But all of these recipes come from our chefs, from working with all these different chefs at our trainings. We have one main chef, his name is Janur, and he has created most of these recipes. Right now he's working on about 7 new cheese recipes, all vegan, all plant-based. So here's how it works. You would go, if you wanted to look at entrees, these are all entrees: portobello mushrooms, stir-fried vegetables, dips and sauces, noodles, banana bread pesto. There's all kinds of fun things here for you to look at. Let's say you wanted to do a fast. You wanted to do some cleansing. Elaine, I know you, that's been on your mind. So then you go look at the green juice recipe, the ginger juice, and start thinking about going lighter in your diet and cleaning out. This spirulina smoothie here is one of my favorites. On our trainings, this is what our students would be having each day. It's actually made with zucchini. I don't know if you've ever blended zucchini, but it makes your recipes really nice and thick. So there's lots of fun things for you to play with there with all of these recipes. Let's just take a look at one recipe. There's one little feature here I want to show you. Let's say, you may know Elena Love. Does anybody here know Elena Love? She's a famous raw vegan chef. There's really famous chefs in here as well who are really, if you know the raw food and vegan world, we have some pretty top chefs here from our trainings again. See, here's our meal planner. And then for Cami, we're gonna put this on your lunch, okay? So there you go. That's how you access it from a recipe onto your meal planner as well. Now let's go take a look at our food as medicine library. So you think about what do you want to learn? Let's say you wanted to learn about apricots. You could either search it or just click on it. Okay. Now this is going to take us back to, this is great because we can go back to some of our lessons that we've already done in the past. So who was here for our glycemic index lesson? Do you remember that one? Or our pH chart? Does anybody remember that? Okay. All right. So our glycemic level, just to give you a little overview, our glycemic level is very important because if you really want to heal your gut, we need to eat under about the number, about 28 down 18 and under, 28 being the highest. So this resource is going to tell you the glycemic index of many different foods. And pH, if you really want to heal your gut, we need to eat foods that are properly pH balanced. So that means like between 7.0 and up. When you start eating below 7.0, you can do that a little bit, which is all the things that we grew up on, the meat, the dairy, the sugar, the caffeine, the wheat, corn, all of that is very low pH, and those foods tend to be high on the glycemic level. These two factors alone are why most of us have gut issues. It's why we have gas. It's why our gastric juices are low. So I created this guide so you can specifically right away find out the glycemic index of a food, the pH of it, and we come back to our lesson here on food combining. Remember, just keep it really, really simple. One of the things you want to make sure you do with your gut is don't mix fruit with anything else. Always eat fruit alone. And in this section, we'll tell you what apricots or whatever that food is good for. So, you know, full of all kinds of vitamins and minerals is what you're going to see on all fruits and vegetables. It's going to, for instance, protect the liver, reduce blood pressure, promote gut health. Okay, so there are foods that are specifically intended to heal our gut, to heal our bodies, to help us to be happy, whole, healthy people. But you and I grew up on a lot of conditioning, and that is in food as well. And guess what happened? Our guts got all jammed up, and we're just not feeling so good. Okay, so we're unlearning and we're deconditioning a lot of the programming that we've been through. You can become a member of this. It's just $19.99 right now because we are just starting this. But next week it's going to go up to its full price. So if you want to take advantage of that, I would encourage you to do so. And then lastly here, we have Go Vegan School. And Go Vegan School is a whole course that I've created. You can check it out on my website in general, but it's a 4-week course. It's for any level, all online, and has access to this site. And it's going to help you to really go into the recipes, why and how. Very practical stuff. Here on Gut Instinct, in this format, we're looking at the practical, but already zooming forward into your greater potential and capacity. But I would encourage you to start here on this site. And if you want to dig into a program, then take the program and really learn how to do this, okay? It's easy if you're committed. So my question for you is, what's your dedication level? What's your dedication level to heal your gut, to your wholeness, your happiness, your health, to your service to others that doesn't entail self-sacrifice? It's not to say that we don't have some service to give, but where we give, that's going to be the difference between probably building your gut health, excuse me, and robbing your gut health. Because remember, we're overcoming and we're learning a whole different language around food, around how you feel about your body, about how you look. Okay, and that's not vanity. Okay, you're a flower. You're a beautiful, delicate, strong flower. But if it's masculinized, then we might feel very depleted because we go into aggression and overworking mode. Do we have any fellow overworkers here? Anybody? Yes, many of us push. Many of us push. So we are learning to feminize. Essentially, our work with healing our gut is a feminization process. It's a reclaiming of deep self. It's a stripping away of a lot of conditioning that has us depleted or not aware of our greater gifts. So if we want to go into the supernatural, into our intuition, which I don't know about you, but that's, to me, has always been the most interesting thing, then I would suggest, again, breaking it down into the practical first. Healing our gut, taking care deeply here, and reclaiming our birthright. That's what we're really doing. We're reclaiming our birthright as women. Okay, lovies. So I'm going to take a few more in the chat box, and then I'd like to open up the group actually and invite you to speak. If you'd like to ask some questions, and let's have a discussion about how this feels, this kind of conversation. How do you feel relating like this? How do you feel with other women? Do you feel safe with other women? Do you have a trusty connection with other women? Yeah, because in our deep state of healing, healing our womb, healing our vaginal health, our sexuality is all directly connected to our gut, our brain chemistry. So we'll take a couple of things in the chat box, and then I'll ask you to kind of mull over what's on your mind. Let's hear from you. So Elaine says, I've just been away on holiday, so not keeping up the raw diet. I have really felt the difference in energy levels, sluggish, tired, bloated. So glad to be back and to get back into the raw diet again. Now this is where super healing is, okay? So, and my own journey, I have been vegan for 27, almost 28 years, and all veg for almost 30, for over half my life. And I was, of those years, I was 100% raw for 9 years and have done serious, copious amounts of fasting. Fasting is really my greatest love. And now I'm about 80% raw. If you really, really want to heal your gut and you really want to get deep into healing, I highly, highly recommend what Elaine is going into, and that is to get more and more into raw food. So that's salad, that's lots of just raw fruit and vegetables in general. Make it tasty. A lot of our recipes are raw, and they're about half and half actually. So I know many of us need to take steps, and we want to just plot our way there, and that's a very healthy approach as well, so you don't get overwhelmed or feel like you're missing something. But encourage everybody, head more and more into raw food. And you might say, I'm not able to break it down. As your gastric juices heal, you will be. When you're used to eating mainly cooked food and you start eating a lot of raw food, you may bloat out, and that is because the raw food is breaking up the old waste in your colon, and it's at first bloating, but if you stick with it, it's going to help pull out a lot of that old waste. And after a couple of weeks, you're going to have probably like big, gigantic things coming out in the toilet. Whatever's going on with you right now, if you're not feeling well, your belly's bloated, there's just one really simple thing we need to do. And get all of that. All of that is what needs to happen. Get all of that in the toilet. So our work, combined with what we've been talking about, is about softening into ourselves, softening and hydrating what's stuck in our bowels, so that we can release and let go of what otherwise we hold on to emotionally and physically that makes us hard, bitter, brittle, constipates us, bloats us out, and makes us not feel beautiful. We are designed for beauty. It's not vanity. That's a woman. So we're feminizing and softening, and the gut is just boom. It's just the core of who we are. The cauldron. It's the cauldron. So Yasmin says, I'm just about to start my herbal medicine training, a new place, new course, new home, new job. I feel incredibly drawn to the plants, but not sure where my gifts lie within that area. Excited to discover what they could be, but want that process to come organically. Do you have any advice on how to drop self-doubt and be open to gifts, etc.? Thanks, Yasmin. Well, you know, this is exactly what we're talking about, all right? And that's the practical application of what your question is in this deep softening. That's what I would encourage, is to allow yourself to move forward, Yasmin, and for everybody, with what your heart calls for. You know, what really deeply makes you feel alive, that excites you, that inspires you. And when the inner critic creeps in, and that one that, you know, cuts you down and belittles you inside, or, you know, you feel crappy about yourself or your boobs or your butt or whatever it is, you know, that's what we go through as women, okay? You know, my husband's always like, what do you mean? You know, going into menopause, and like, you know, all of a sudden, like, I have butt and boobs. But I was like really skinny my whole life until about 2 years ago, a different body. And he always says to me, like, why are you so hard on yourself about having curves now? You know, because the woman's mind has a way of either self-sabotaging or being her greatest supporter. So Yasmin, I would really encourage you to just keep stepping forward and observe that voice, the inner critic voice. And if it's your boss, I would encourage you to say thank you to it, and keep softening into your tenderness and your vulnerability and what you feel and what you go through, and always choose to move forward anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. You know, it's a much different moving forward from aggression and force rather than tender, vulnerable, you know, like, oh, you know, feeling it. And if you can allow yourself to move forward from that place, then nothing needs to get pushed away or denied or swept under the carpet, because you're willing to reveal yourself. So in essence, Yasmin, I would encourage you to really reveal yourself. Show your tenderness. Does that mean we're going to be doormats or sappy women? Oh no, you're all much too spunky and spicy for that. It just means that we're willing to be real, and to be transparent, and to be a tender woman. And do I still need to, like, you know, go down to the kitchen or to our retreat center here and probably have to line out a bunch of people every single day, every day? But if I do that from any aggression at all, because I'm irritated or I don't want to step forward like you're talking about, Yasmin, the mirrors are so strong that it puts me back into, like, okay, let me keep softening. So may we be willing to move forward, everyone, with what we want to do. And just, we're going to make mistakes. You've got to be willing to make mistakes and do it anyway. And hopefully from your tenderness, your exquisite ability to feel. Thank you, Yasmin. So Katina says, I've just been to the hospital with impaction, still going through trying to eliminate for the past 7 weeks. I'm very fatigued, have ME and fibromyalgia anyway, but feeling very poorly at the moment. Yeah, I'm sorry, Katina. Well, you know, if you feel strong enough for it, some fasting and getting really hydrated is going to help, because essentially, in a nutshell, if you're really impacted, so what she means is bowel impaction, severe constipation. It's because if we're really impacted, if you're not pooing, if you're compacted, this is just misery. We all know what it's like to, even if you only poo once a day, you might think you're doing okay. We need to poo 3 times a day to truly be healthy. So Katina, in your case, if you're going like long weeks without it, like, I mean, 7 weeks without pooing, okay? 2 things, hydration, big time hydration. I would stop eating and start juicing. Go onto the recipe site, get into the green juice. Remember, apples in your green juice, apples have malic acid in them. And that malic acid is a natural laxative. You don't want to take laxatives really ever, because all they do is dehydrate your system. They suck the water out of your bowels and they just make your problem worse, more and more compaction. But instead, you stop eating, start getting really hydrated, get the apple juice in you, and those apples are going to naturally start eliminating waste. Watermelon juice is another excellent one. If you drink about 4 liters of watermelon juice right down in the morning, I promise you, you're going to start going to the toilet. But if you keep eating, we're going to keep impacting it. We must release to the same ratio that we stir up waste. Okay? For everything that we put in, the same amount's got to come out. But if your peristalsis, your poop muscle, the contractive muscle that tells you you need to poo, if it's weak, okay, like any muscle in our body that gets weak, if it atrophies and you're dehydrated, you don't poo. And that's going to mess with your mind, your physical health, everything. And unfortunately, they don't do what they used to do in hospitals. In the past, like if you went into the hospital, even up to like 50 years ago, with any kind of ailment, you know what the number one thing they would do first? They would give you an enema. It would be the very first thing. Now, when you're really, really dried out and dehydrated, Katina, like what it sounds like is going on with you, you probably won't get much out. Okay, and that's because it's too dry, compacted, and hard. So hydration, hydration, hydration. And just to keep it really, really, really simple, one little last thing about that is you could also, if you don't have access to juice and all of that, what I would suggest you do is to keep about 2 liters of water by your bed, good purified water, and right when you wake up in the morning, drink them all the way down. That too will send you right to the toilet. I hope that's helpful, Katina. Bless you. Pallavi says, how many liters of water should women drink in a day? Well, you know, I would encourage you to drink at least a couple of liters, like 2 liters. But I would also encourage you to really get into your juicing. Use that green juice recipe. Personally, I like to drink about 2 to 3 liters of green juice every morning, and intermittent fasting in the mornings. Okay, so don't eat in the morning and get your nutrition through liquid source, soluble sources. Our bodies need nutrition, yes, but not through all of this dense, heavy food. Get nutrition through soluble food in the morning, especially. Clean out and don't eat until you're truly, truly hungry, and you will start eliminating better in general. Okay, so any other questions? Does anybody want to turn your mic on and talk? You're welcome to if you would like to speak. Yeah, or is everybody shy? No. Okay. Elaine says, I love my juicer. I couldn't afford an expensive one, but John Lewis does an affordable one. I like to keep some of the fiber and use it in my food. Okay. Yes, and make friends with your juicer. I'll tell you, my favorite juicer is the Huron, and look for the self juicer. It is a little bit more expensive, this one. Whoops, I put that in the wrong place. I'm going to send that again. It is a little bit more expensive, this one, but it's the difference. If you don't have a good juicer, here, there we go. If you don't have a good juicer, you may not juice. Okay, so I encourage you to get a really good one that you're excited to juice. And this one self juices. It's great. All right, dear ladies, let's drop into a little bit of a deeper space together, and let's do our figure 8 meditation, and let's begin to really consciously connect our heart down into our womb, in our guts, dropping down into the lower part of our body. And from there, we're going to take a few readings. Okay, so let's take a big breath. And with the exhale, really drop your attention down into your heart, right into the center of your chest. Begin to rotate your heart counterclockwise, like you're opening a jar. Feel your heart opening, softening. And you're generating light, life force energy, all that beautiful passion you have inside, all the love inside of you rotating counterclockwise as a golden light, a golden spiral in the center of your chest. Breathe into it, charge it with your breath. And begin to drop that spiral in a figure 8 down into your gut. Connect it into your gut, filling your gut with light, with healing, warm, iridescent light. And in a figure 8, bring it back up into your heart, back into your heart hub, charging in light in your heart hub. Charge up here. Breathe into it. And charge, keep charging here and drop that charged golden light in a figure 8 back down into your gut. Softening, releasing any tension in your gut, giving yourself permission to let go in your belly. Fill it up with light, warmth, of all that love inside of you, all that healing, giving it to your gut, softening into it. Breathing in, spiral it back into your heart hub, charging in light, charging in the center of your chest, charging. And dropping it down into your gut again in the figure 8. Softening, warming in your gut, healing your gut with your own energy, resourcing yourself with your own light, with your own love. Softening, trusting your tenderness, trusting your vulnerability as a woman, trusting your gut instinct, your intuition that lives in your belly. And bring it back up in a figure 8 into your heart hub, landing in your heart, in your love, charging, generating, growing, resourcing light. You healing you, regenerating in your own love. And one last time in a figure 8, drop it down into your gut and into your ovaries and your womb, your whole vaginal area. Bring your light. Bring your full acceptance of who you are as a woman and your sexuality and your ovaries, your vagina. Bring all of your light and healing to who you are as a woman. Charging here. Charging full, utter, total, complete acceptance of your sexuality, your gut, your female health, holding it tender. Really acknowledging yourself here, connected to yourself, to your female organs, to your gut, soft, tender light, healing yourself with your own energy. Spiral back up into your heart hub. Big breath into your heart and letting go. Big breath. And big breath. Feel yourself safe to be in your soft strength, in your tenderness, in your femininity, and who you are as a woman, softening, feeling alive, true to yourself, putting yourself first, your own healing, your own needs, listening to your body, trusting your body. Listen to your body, hear your soul. Thank you, body. Thanking your body now. Thank you, body. And let your body know you're really here to take care of it, to heal it. Thank you, dear ladies. I encourage you to practice your figure 8 meditation often. Use it as a regenerative force. All the things you have going on, no matter what's going on, you can always figure 8 right in the middle of a conversation, connected to your body, to your heart, to your gut. Deep inner trust of yourself. Okay, ladies, we're going to move into doing a few readings. We might run over by a few minutes. And you're welcome, Elaine. And the way this works, if you haven't been here before, is basically I am going to ask your permission to scan your system. And with your permission, I'm going to scan into your body, and I'm just going to listen. And just know that it's tender sometimes, sensitive, and I'm gonna be ultra delicate and sensitive to you. And even though I may sense certain things, I'm always gonna ask your permission and not expose you in a group, okay? Just to keep it very safe. This is tender, safe work. Okay, Sophia.
Hello.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have your permission to scan your system. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Thank you. We take a big breath with me. Everybody, big breath together. Yeah. Sophia, have you been under quite a bit of stress lately?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yeah.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a kind of intestine issues right now. I'm bloated and without any, that's because of the stress maybe, yeah, and I have gut issues too. It's been like more than a week now. I'm trying to eat healthy. I've always been healthy, but I guess that didn't help. Just the stress was heavier than my nutrition. And now I'm just trying to eat a lot of fiber and a lot of probiotics, trying to try to heal myself, but I don't see it doesn't get any better. So
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Are you in an Eastern European country?
yes.
Yeah. So what I see is in your gut, what it looks like is that there's old compaction. So you grew up on a pretty strong meat and dairy diet, yeah?
Meat? No, I don't eat meat almost.
No, when you were a child, did you grow up on a strong meat and dairy diet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so here's what it feels like, Sophia. What it feels like is that you are a different type of creature. Okay, you're a different type of person than what your environment is. Okay, few people could probably understand the degree of sensitivity and the degree of creativity that runs through you. It's the part of the world that you're in feels like, or do you feel like kind of like an alien in an alien land?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, I can see that. So see, this has gotten set up from a long time ago in your childhood. And what it feels like in your childhood is that your body's not meant, the way your system reads is not meant for meat and dairy. Okay, it's really hard on your body. It's hard on many bodies, but being as sensitive as you are, and as actually you have very great channeling abilities, and this type of system doesn't process a lot of protein really well. But it also feels like you grew up in a household where you needed to conform, and there was some domination going on in your house. Is that true?
Domination, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, like did you feel dominated by your father, or was this like an intense presence in your family where you needed to be quiet and kind of withdraw?
Yeah, I was very unconfident when I was a child. Very, quiet.
Yeah. So that degree of domination, what it feels like is you learn to hold things inside. So what it feels like is your emotional patterning, your program is to hold things inside. And so what that has done is it's created constipation. And Katina, this was something like what it feels like in your system as well. Constipation, dehydration, and you haven't been eliminating properly well since you were a kid. And being as highly sensitive as you are, in like a stranger in a strange land, it's no wonder that your system's beginning to break down a bit. So I would encourage you, same thing as we talked about with Katina, is get really hydrated, start doing some fasting, and your system feels like it's strong enough to fast. I would encourage you to go to amyrochelle.com and go to free stuff and get the do a detox booklet. Start doing some cleansing and empty out your bowels, okay? And do some enemas. And everyone, if you haven't been doing enemas, I would highly encourage it. Enemas are your best friend, okay? And one last thing, Sophia, is it feels like you are a highly creative person. Are you an artist? Is that what you do?
I do love everything that is paint. Yeah, I do love art, but I don't work. But I wish I do yoga a lot. I am yoga teacher. Yeah.
Reclaim your healing in your art, Sophia, and do some fasting, and encourage you to come out with what you feel. Express yourself. Let people in your life know what you need. And one last thing here is encourage you to get a parasite test, because my sense is that you have picked up some perhaps a parasite in your gut, is what it feels like. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We can take one more person. Somebody else would like a reading here. Amina, do we have somebody else that's popped in?
Nobody was mentioned right now, but I noticed that Katina was raising her hand, so I'm just curious if she's interested.
Okay. I haven't seen anything from Katina in the chat box. I don't see her there. Okay, Kiki, let's go to you. Kiki, would you mind turning on your camera? Works best if I can see.
If I wind up actually. Just hold on. I know I'm at work. I'm just going outside right now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm going to need you to turn your camera on, if you would.
Yes, I'm trying right now. Okay. Why does it say no when I push on it? Unable to access, allow Zoom. Oh, I need to go in setting. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I tell you what, we will come back to you, okay? Why don't you, if you can figure out your technology, then we can come back to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, we can take one more person. Okay. Or we can take questions as well. Feel free to pop anything in the chat box. If you could tell me, what do you most need in your life right now? Katina, okay, thanks, Elaine. Katina had her hand up. If you could pop in the chat box, what do you most need in your life right now? And Katina, let's go to you. Katina, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Can I scan your system, Katina? Would that be okay?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, what it feels like is that what you're going through, what you're experiencing right now is a long time culmination. It's a long time culmination. Worrying is not doing you any good. Are you worrying quite a bit right now?
Yeah.
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 That worry feels like it's producing more acid in your system, and it's says like the worry doesn't belong to you. Feels like worry is something that you learned, and what it feels like is that you're being asked to go on a journey. You're being asked to go on a journey that has been kind of like over here in your peripheral vision, and you may not have fully allowed yourself to go on that journey. But Katina, I would encourage you to say yes to your journey, to say yes to the healing, to say yes to what's calling you, and to say yes to your belly. Was your mother a worrywart?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that's what it feels like. It feels like you learned worry from your mother. Okay, and this feels like something really old in your female lineage in general. But part of your opportunity, if you can look at what you're experiencing right now with your health issues as an opportunity, rather than there's something wrong with you, okay? Because if there's a voice going on inside of you that says there's something really wrong with me, that voice feels like it's the pilot light that ignites the fire of worry. And what it feels like that's doing is it's disconnecting you from your gut. So it doesn't allow you to feel yourself to the degree that you're capable of. It's like the worry acts as a obstruction to your innate feeling state. Yeah. So if you can keep saying yes to feeling, Katina, yes to the unknown. The invitation is a journey into the unknown, to a great exploration, like flying to a country you've never been to and you don't know what the ground's going to look like, but you're excited because you're on a journey, an adventure. So I encourage you, Katina, to embrace the adventure and allow the little girl, Katina, to come forth. Allow her to be present. I encourage you to do some inner child work and to commit to a healing process. I encourage you to get supported with it. And this is for everyone. And this is part of the magic that Katina is bringing in for everybody here, is if you've been saying no to your healing journey or putting it off, could we embrace it? Can we get support and get some help so that you can face these things that otherwise might seem too daunting?
I suffered trauma as a young child, as well as in adulthood. medical trauma in adulthood, but abuse in childhood. And I did address it 3 years ago, but it's still there. It's never gone away.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. You know, my experience is that the trauma may not necessarily go away, but our relationship to it can change, and our ability to both be the mother, the parent within, and to give that little child, that little Katina, the permission to be heard, to be felt, so that you can parent the part of you that got really hurt, that perhaps learned to hold things inside that might be giving you some serious issues in your belly now.
Yeah.
And Roots, absolutely, you got a good comment there. Roots says that breath work can potentially really help. I would highly, highly recommend breath work. Amina, could you pop in Alchemy of Breath?
Yeah.
I would really encourage you to breathe, to really, you know, allow the emotions to soften us, allow the emotions to come up. Perhaps if you all would like, we could do a special breathwork session in one of our groups here and give everyone a feeling for what it is to trust that it's safe to feel, Katina, and that it's safe for you to open up emotionally. And again, we may still have those old memories, but we can relate in a different way with it so that it doesn't have to keep re-traumatizing you and affecting your health in a negative way.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
God bless you. Yes. Bless. I understand that tenderness. And this is the beauty of doing this kind of work. One message that someone generates here is for everyone. So Sophia was showing us the need to really come back really into honoring our deep sensitivity, to let go of the old meat and dairy ways that congest us, to embrace our deep, deep tenderness. And, you know, Katina, that comes right into how you show us what's possible if we're willing to, no matter what stage of life we're at, where our health is, if we're willing to feel. And I just want to acknowledge you for this feeling state that I can sense you in. And Katina, you bring this to everybody. So everyone, Katina, what if we accepted the great adventure to heal our gut health?
Yes, I want to heal. I want to be well.
That's
I've
where
been.
it all begins. We've got to.
Pardon, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said then, sorry.
We just really are going to need to really want it in a sick world that's about to completely self-destruct itself from our state of sickness within. In order for each of us to stand up and say, I choose to be healthy, I choose to stand for something else, is perhaps what each one of us are faced with. And we've, you know, Katina, you help us to understand we put our journey off, or we've not wanted to go there. But at a certain point, we all still have a little girl inside of us who's asking for our help. She needs to be rescued. She needs to be saved. And the only one that can do that is really the mother within us, and we can do that for ourselves. And here we come together in support, we come together in education, and we help one another to face what otherwise feels so insurmountable. So thank you for your tenderness, Katina and Sophia, for all you ladies. And may we reclaim the power of our ability to feel. This is our strength. This is our love. Yes, Ruth says, I choose to accept and acknowledge myself as I am now. Healing has already begun. That's right. So let's take a big breath into our own healing, into all love we have inside of us. And we may not know how or where but you've already begun. And to acknowledge yourself for what you are doing, for showing up for you. Encourage all of us to truly acknowledge all that deep love and goodness you have inside of you. Just take a big breath together. And really honoring all the deep vulnerability that's alive inside of each one of us, and to protect her, to care for her, so that you can feel safe to be who you are, and that you can share all the love that you have, and know that it's safe to do that, and that we won't get re-traumatized again if we're not all manned up. Manned up, we cannot heal, ladies. To drop down our armor and to find the deep safety within, to come together with other women who also are like you, who love and care, who hold something different for this earth, is our birthright. May we claim it. May we claim it. And feel safe to be sensitive, and feel safe to let go. When you let go, we poo better. Okay, and this is what we need to do, ladies. We need to get all that stuff in your belly in the toilet. Okay, it's got to get soluble enough, and we've got to let go emotionally and start to heal all that old sexual abuse, trauma, all the things that you've been through. We don't need to be defined by it anymore and carry it in our colon, in our tissue, in our intestines. It's as easy as saying, I choose to heal. I'm choosing to let go. You found your way here, and you will continue to find your way. Support is everything. Education is everything. Encourage you to start with the resource site that we looked at. Take advantage of it being practically free right now before it goes up. And really break down step by step, taking good care of yourself. It's not just physical healing, it's emotional healing. It's letting go. And I can just about promise you that your superpowers are right on the other side of that. Okay? Is it like abracadabra? Not what I mean. It's more like I deeply honor myself. I choose to let go, and you allow for the greater force of life to show up for you, for us, if we let the tenderness come back. It's your birthright. It's a claiming. Bless you, dear ladies. Bless, bless, bless. I really understand it's not always easy to get started. Melva says, is there a way to watch your replays? Yes. Just go to my YouTube channel and you'll find them all there. They're all numbered as well. Pallavi says, thank you, Amy, for this platform and all the love and kindness your sessions have encouraged me to pursue my journey. Thanks, ladies. Oh, bless. That's the way. And Katina, that's the way. You're not alone. Okay? You're not alone. But we must keep rising up and saying, I choose it, I choose it, I choose it. Because remember, it's unhealthy out there. You may be considered a weirdo if you choose to be healthy. So let us be the strange ones who choose to be healthy and to rise up and to do something different for this planet. It's our responsibility, ladies, because we can, because you feel this much. Let's heal ourselves and channel it into a place where we can really put our good love to work on this planet in a whole way. If you'd like to drop us a little note here in the chat box and tell us, give us some feedback on your session today, we'd love to know if this touched you or how this works for you. It's a new platform, and with your input and your feedback, we are figuring out how to best offer things to you and what you need. So encourage you to write me as well. pop in the chat box and stay connected and let us know what you need, because as you offer feedback, then we can build out certain features on our platform. And you're also welcome to join our Facebook group. It's called Go Vegan with Amy Rochelle. Thank you, lovely ladies. Kiki, come next time and we will give you a reading next time. And we do this every Thursday, and love to see you all again then. Blessings to you, ladies, and may you commit to your journey. Remember, step 1, get connected to their resource and recipe site. Break it down practically. Keep coming to your webinars. Keep showing up for yourself every single day, best you can. Observe that old critic voice so that all that love can come back inside of you that you give everyone else. Bless you, dear ladies. Bless your gut. Bless all of you. Big hug, and see you next Thursday. Lots of love, beauties.